I got some more light. Well, as per my norm, I'm watching things on the internet. I've been watching for the past week or so these terrorist attacks happening in Israel. And the new tactic seems to be getting behind the wheels of cars and just start plowing into people. You know, how long is it going to be before they start doing that and have a bomb in it? Big bombs. And how long is it going to be before they have squads in these cars that once they make impact with a crowd, they either explode, self-detonated, or squads jump out and start mowing people down with machine guns. God said in these last days, Jerusalem was going to be a troublesome stone to the whole world. And boy, is it ever. And I'm telling you now, the Temple Institute guy, the director, I believe his name's Yehuda Glick. I've watched his videos before on the Temple Institute, watching with my eyes, seeing end times being fulfilled as they're preparing all the temple, building stones, altar, vestments and implements and robes, and I'm watching this with my eyes, and I'm thinking, we're watching the Bible come alive before our eyes. And I'm telling you now, them trying to kill this Yehuda Glick was a sign. Because the people in Israel used to be like the most secular country on the planet. And yet there's a national spirit, a national Hebrew spirit coming alive in Israel. And I believe that Yehuda Glick was the opening shots of that. Literally opening shots. We have members of their parliament going onto the temple site and saying, the status quo is not good. We don't want Jordan, controlling this. This is our holy site. And Benjamin Netanyahu is, he's stepping on his own head as far as his political career is concerned. People worldwide, Israelis, are seeing that every time they give up land for peace, within months, missiles start coming out of that land they just gave up. They know if they're going to try to force this 1967 borders on them, they know what's going to happen then. So I don't believe it's going to happen. I believe that one way or the other, this temple, this Jerusalem stone is going to start the war. Now, I can't say that with 100%, but if something happens to the Dome of the Rock, supposedly the third holiest spot in all of Islam, or if Israel, the Hebrews, do something to shut that off from the Arabs, or if something happens to that third most holy site, I wouldn't put it past the Muslims to sneak explosive in there, attack their own site, and then blame Israel, and then launch the war. And then, of course, other countries will jump in, like the new Caliphate, ISIS, Nusra, Muslim Brotherhood, Hezbollah, and all the rest of them, Hamas, and watch them attack. And that will be Psalm 38. Watch someone like Assad, who's already under increasing pressure from the rebels and Nusra and whoever else is attacking him, ISIS. Watch him do something. I don't know which it's going to be, something in Syria or the Jerusalem Temple Mount. I don't know. But I know from watching with my own eyes. Yehuda Glick was asked, what do you think would be the turnaround for the Hebrew people to realize that this is their holy site? It's under their holy site's under the control of the Wafi, or whatever you want to call them, from Jordan. And he said, an act of personal violence. Basically he just prophesied his own violence done to him by a member of a terrorist organization, whom is now dead. Yehuda Glick is going to live, and I can sense that national spirit welling up within Hebrews. I don't believe the rebuilding of the temple is necessarily a good thing. I know that that's going to be the instrument that the Antichrist is going to go into and proclaim himself to be God and perform the act of abomination of desolation. I can see the secular world labeling Christianity when they have no business labeling what is Christianity. And in that group is Mormonism, Seventh-day Adventism, Jehovah's Witness, Catholic, Protestant. Most Protestant now is apostate because they've gone to the emergent church, rejoining with Catholicism again, ordaining homosexuals, marrying homosexuals. Everything seems to be infested with this new emergent church, the new revived emergent church, post-emergent church. I don't see why we're still here. Unless at this Psalm 83 war, it's not just isolated to the Middle East. Unless the spark starts, North Korea attacks South Korea, China attacks the Asiatics, Russia takes over the Ukraine and takes over those countries that were former Soviet Union. Ethnic group against ethnic group in America. You know, the Democratic Party just had their backsides handed to them. And I'm not the one to really cheer and go over ballistic about that, because we've had this current political system for some time now. And it doesn't make a difference who's in charge. Democrats move the ball wildly forwards to liberalism, and Republicans, when they're in control for 8 years, move it forwards a little bit. And you know, it doesn't make a difference what anyone says. The parties are the same side, two opposite sides of the same coin. They're still moving in that direction. And what people fail to realize, that in all of this, what they don't realize is the Antichrist is going to be a religious figure. He's going to be a political, economic, religious figure. He's going to control it all. So in order for him to do that, he has to have a centralized religion like Catholicism that will absorb all these other religions, and he'll pretend to be the God of them all. Now there's only two groups that I've stated many times before: fundamentalist Christianity, fundamentalist Islam, that will not bow a knee to the Antichrist. They will not. Right now, we're seeing holes being put in the fundamentalist Islam. They're being killed, and the world's waking up to this. And I believe that's the mechanism by which this coming chaos collapse that the Antichrist is going to step into. He's going to have to deal, and I believe his armies are going to take on fundamentalist Islam. Christianity, fundamentalist, real Christians, will be taken out in the rapture. Which is going to be, you know, not very many of the secular labeled Christians. Because according to them, there's a total of 2.2 billion Christians on this world. Now, I don't know about you, but that doesn't sound like the few to me. If you take out Catholicism, that's 1.2 of them right there. That's half. Right there. Gone. And you add into that, you know, there's 800 million Protestants. Now, how many of those have actually gone away from the Reformation, which was not what people think it was anyway? They still held on to a lot of the same heretical, dogmatic, man-made traditions that was still in the Catholic Church. I mean, that's where we get the Methodist, the Lutheran, and all these other groups from. And they're all, you know, Methodists have female pastors or recognizing same-sex marriages. The same with the Episcopal. You know, they're just, how many of those 800 million are actually going to be taken in the rapture? I think very few. So let's say 200 million from that go in the rapture. That leaves 600 million that you can take away from the total number of actual real Christians. Then you add in Mormons, Jehovah's Witness, Seventh-day Adventists, emergent church, and all of its varied forms. And you're going to have, out of that 2.2, a very small number that are actually going to be taken in the rapture, that don't attach man-made doctrines, like purgatory. And what I don't remember the name now. It's slipping my name, it's on the tip of my tongue, but I don't got it. Indulgences. That's not in the Bible. You don't give a priest money to have your time shortened in purgatory. so that he somehow has this magical authority to grant you, which is something that doesn't exist to begin with. Antichrist is going to be religious. The world's religions are moving that way. The world economy is moving that way. The world political system is moving that way. If you think that the Republicans, one, are actually going to do something, you are sadly deceived. Atheism within 10 years is going to be extinct. Because the Antichrist is going to demand worship. He's going to demand you take that mark on your right hand of your forehead. If you don't take it, you're going into prison, or they're going to behead you. Now, how much does it cost to keep a beheaded person? Nothing. So, there's not going to be too many prisoners. There may be some, but they're not going to be very many. They're just going to kill them because it costs too much to feed them, especially when the world is in chaos. I'm watching these events, I'm saying, man, why are we still here? Maybe it's going to take that moment when the missiles are coming down and we're going to be snatched out of here. I don't know. But I don't think, I've said this before, but I don't think we're going to make it all the way to the next Feast of Trumpets. Obama's back is against the wall. If he does some outrageous, crazy stuff, we may have that civil war within the borders of this country far sooner than what anybody thinks. I mean, it's just going to take one natural disaster, one series of, like simultaneous terrorist attacks, and he's going to declare martial law. His ego is beyond anything I have ever seen. His hubris is just simply stunning to see it. He thinks he speaks and everything's just going to do what he says. Even now, his own party's turning against him. And that just may be the thing that goes in his mind that makes him go overboard and just say, okay, I'm just going to take over it all. Can't trust anybody to take care of anything. I don't know. But I do know this. We're almost home. So hold tight. We're almost there. We're almost there. And as usual, if you're not a believer, 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verses 1 through 4. Believe that and be saved. Bye.